everybody. So today we're going to be going over troubleshooting why the sprayer is not working and all the common problems that we run into with that and how to fix them. So if you have your sprayer hooked up and you're ready to either clean it out with water or get some paint into it, and when you turn it on into prime mode but no water is coming out through this, we can potentially have a clog up here through the intake hose. So one of the first things you do is you're going to check your intake hose filter over here. Make sure there's not any dried paint or debris or anything that could be blocking the water or paint from entering the sprayer through there. And this one looks like it's okay, so we'll put that back in the water. And the next problem that it could be is inside right here. There's a little ball valve that opens and closes when water or paint is getting sucked up into the machine. So sometimes that gets stuck closed with paint buildup over time. So to get that cleared, you pinch the clip, bring that down, have to tilt the sprayer back a little bit. The intake hose just wiggles off, like that. We'll take a screwdriver, Phillips head, small, and just kind of insert that up into here and jiggle around, and you'll feel the ball valve in there when you do this. And when you do that, sometimes you'll see some old water discolored kind of come out, and that usually means that you've cleared the clog, and it'll now be able to suck water or paint up into the machine. So once you know that that's been cleared, you put the intake hose back on, make sure that your clamp is back on, and we'll try the next step. So make sure the machine's plugged in. And it's on. And so if we have the machine plugged into the extension cord, then plugged into the house, and the machine is not turning on, the possibility could be one of two things probably. So either the outlet that you're plugged into is a GFI and it's been tripped and you have to restart the GFI by hitting the reset button, or sometimes we run into an issue where there's just not enough power in that outlet to get the machine to turn on. And that's usually because that outlet is shared with a lot of other things in the house, potentially appliances, other things are running. There's not enough starting energy to get the sprayer to start. So if you run into that issue, unplug the sprayer from that outlet, find a separate outlet in the house, and plug it into that one. So now that we know that we have power here, I'll turn the machine on, make sure we're in prime mode, which is down. Turn the machine on. There we go. Now we have water running through it, so we know that the clog has been cleared and we're bringing in water or paint up into the machine. So the next issue that you could run into if you're beginning to spray, so we already got the machine primed, we're in spray mode, tip is open to spray, and if we're running into a situation where paint is not coming out of there, or it's coming out very little at all, it's right now running how it should. If it's seeming like half the paint is coming out, there's a potential that the filters are clogged. So we have two filters on this machine. There's a filter that's inside the gun right here, and there's another filter that's right here. So if you follow the line hose up to the machine, this unscrews right here, and inside there's a filter. So you may notice it as well, which we've mentioned before, where you're spraying and you have the fingering lines on the end, even though the machine is properly set to the correct PSI. But if you're noticing the fingering on the ends, that usually means that the filters have become clogged on the machine and in the gun, and we have to replace those. So now we'll go through and show how we replace the filters in both the gun and the machine. So to show you really quick what those look like. So these will be in all the kits we have along with the tools for working on the pumps, but the longer filter right here, that's the one that goes inside the handle of the spray gun. The shorter filter, that's the one that actually goes inside the machine. So to replace the filter, get a little more slack here. So to replace the filter on the gun, this hand guard pops off like that. Okay. And this gun, the contractor gun, so there's two types of guns that are a little bit different. The contractor gun, where the blue meets the silver, it unscrews from that part right there. Sometimes you have to kind of get a better grip on it. This one actually might have got fused shut. Sometimes you have to tap it loose too. So this one, when I reattached it, the sprayer was actually broken. If you guys remember on the one job we did, the exterior, and I abandoned it halfway through and had to buy the new one. So now we're fixing this in real time. So you can see a bunch of paint. When this got put back on, was closed and it got stuck in that position. So you just have to kind of break it loose. There we go. Let's change. Okay. So now that we got that broken free, it'll spin off just like this. Yeah, you can see now how much paint and buildup was on here, and that's why it wasn't going. But again, you can take a little hammer or wrench, just keep tapping it. Eventually it will come free. There we go. So we'll clean that out in a second. Filter. So this one was replaced not too long ago. It's fairly clean. And you can usually tell because ones that are bad, these are completely going to be caked in paint. You can't see any of the mesh anymore. And that's why no paint will move through it and the gun's not spraying properly. So this one, actually I did replace this one, so pop this one back in. Mike, is there a rag laying over here somewhere? I'm gonna use my shirt. That should seat almost perfectly on there. Same thing, I just have to give another tap to get it back into place. As you can see right here, these pieces should line up exact, the silver and the blue. There we go. That's reattached. Put our extension back on. And we'll replace the filter in the machine. Always make sure you have that clamped back into place. Just like that. Okay, so filter on the machine. We're not undoing, well, I might as well just show you how to do that. So we'll remove the hose. There's two pieces that can get undone. The hose right here, which is attached to the fitting, and the fitting has to get undone to get to the filter. So we'll undo the hose first, get that out of the way, and then we'll undo the fitting to get to the filter. These really like to get caked on there with paint over time, so have to pull on it a little bit. So it will slowly break free. And in another one of our videos, we'll show you the signs for when these filters might be clogged. But you can always tell when you're spraying, and when you're starting to see that, then you know it's time to do these steps to get all the filters replaced on the machine. There we go. That is out. It's kind of stuck in there. Alright, here's a good example. So, see a lot of that buildup on here? All that junk? That is going to be clogging your filter. So basically, once this becomes fully encaked like this with stuff, the paint can no longer pass through, which even if your filter is clear here, it's not pushing enough material through the line because this is clogged. So both filters have to be clean and working order. We can see this one is no good anymore. You can zoom in down here and see how much gunk is on the inside of this. So we'll go through, grab a rag out of the truck, and we'll get all that cleared out, because all that sediment right there, that's going to block your new filter. So toss the garbage one, make sure not to lose this piece, set that to the side. Grab a rag really quick.
I'm afraid to turn it off. It's like being a beat drummer. You know how hard it is to stand here holding this? I can't do it anymore. Oh, come on.
We'll have Mom edit this part out.
Well, I don't think you have to do
Okay,
that.
so you'll take a rag. Try to get all these extra pieces out. Okay. Now once you got all that out, replace the filter. Now, as you can see, these new filters, or the small filters I should say, there's two different types of ends. One of these ends has these points on it, right? And the other end is just circular. Now you got to make sure you're putting these back into the filter housing the exact same. Okay. Circular end is going to go in. Your square end will be sticking out like that. We're just going to fit that in straight. Make sure we're sitting how we should be. You're going to tighten it back into place by hand. And once it's all the way tightened in by hand, begin to wrench that back into place. You don't want to over tighten it, but you also don't want this to be under tightened because paint will come out of it. This entire system is pressurized, so you got to make sure it's on there good, but not good enough where it won't come off again, because we do have to replace these again. So once you feel the tension on it, give another kind of quarter grunt, as they'd say in shop class, and it's good. So once that filter's been replaced, reattach our line, same thing. Let's get that threaded on. And once that's on, quarter tight turn up. And now we know that our filter and our gun is clean, our filter and our machine is clean, our intake hose is clean, and our ball valve is not stuck. So once those things are all through and checked, the next issues that we could run into for why the pattern may not be spraying properly or not shooting water or paint through the machine, there could be a potential blockage in the extension or in the housing or tip. So we'll go through that right now. So for troubleshooting, you would remove the housing and the tip, set that to the side. Turn the machine on. Our line's primed up. We're not seeing any leaks coming through here from there or our gun, so we know our seals are back on tight. If you're noticing leaks, depressurize the machine and try to retighten these. So to make sure we don't have a clog in our extension, we'll go ahead, our machine is primed, pull the trigger. Which, this is just water. If this was paint, do it into a discharge bucket. Which, we'll do that anyways. So we can see we're shooting water through. So we probably do not have a clog in our extension at all. So if we do have another potential clog, it could be with the tip. Tips, we replace these often. Either they get blown out, sometimes they get pieces put in them that can't be cleaned out. You have to get a new one. So if you're gonna get a new tip, let's just pretend this is a new one. The new tip would go in this right here, little gasket, right? That is this little piece right here. So we have a new housing. This piece is not in there. You put it in, right? Just like that. It pushes forward, locks into place. You can kind of see right there. Silver on the inside. That's this right here. So you want to make sure your silver piece is lined up like that. Imagine because the spray tip is going to rest on it like that. When the hole lines up with this, that's when the paint's going to shoot. So you want to make sure when you're putting your gasket piece in, it's lined up correctly for how the spray tip is going to be sitting on it. So when you have your new, pretend this is the new tip, new housing, new gasket, you would reattach that onto your extension. Okay. Nice and tight. We have it in the clear mode. Now we're spraying just like we should. So we'd flip that back to spray mode. Still coming through, so we now know we have no clogs anywhere in our machines. Our intake line, ball valve is cleared on the inside. We have no clogs in either one of our filters, no clog in our extension, no clog in our housing or gasket or our tip. So now, once that's all been checked, the machine should be good to go to put into paint and to begin spraying again.